Hi, everybody. What you think of the new picture I did?
I love it.
Okay, good, good.
I
That
love
was done by AI.
I
Canva now has an AI thing that you can go in and type in what you're looking for, and it'll
uh-huh.
create the pictures for you. And
Wonderful.
so I was able to took several tries before I got what I wanted, but
Well, good.
eventually I got what I was looking for.
At least you
But
got it.
and that wired out cap that I love to put up,
Uh-huh.
I found this. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. I'm like, okay, I gotta get another one so I can send it to you. We'll both
Uh-huh.
have our matching pins.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Did you notice
hello
I got on a
everybody.
different shirt today?
Yeah, well, me too. So yeah, it's called This Is What Was Clean.
Right. I decided to not just wear the blue one all the time.
Well, the blue one I have that matches your blue one
Uh-huh.
is a wintertime shirt. It's a
Okay.
thicker material and long
Uh-huh.
sleeve. And I'm
Yes,
like, okay, I'm not wearing that anymore
I know,
until
right?
winter gets here.
I know.
Because otherwise I'm gonna have a heat stroke sitting there.
Uh-huh.
Um, well, hi everybody. Hello, Bora Bora. Hello, Sandy. We got a couple folks in.
Yes.
Give them a
Hello,
few more
everybody.
minutes. See who else pops up. We're probably up against a couple of big hitters. And hi, Gerald. And
Yes. How's it going, Gerald?
so, did y'all ever connect?
We did. We
Okay,
did.
okay.
We
Because I remember
communicated.
Gerald had
Yeah,
asked
we did.
for your info to connect with you.
Mhm.
And oh, great, Bora Bora. I'm glad y'all like the new pictures.
Yes.
And but I especially like I found my little stressed out cat. Says it's fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. While he's, you know, I said that's perfect. So, oh, aren't we both big hitters? Well, not compared to some folks, no, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
I'm
Just a
gonna go
little.
with Gerald.
I just went over 2,100 subscribers,
Hey,
so I was like, wow. So my
2,100 is a
goal
lot.
is to shoot for 5,000 by the end of the year.
Mhm.
Fingers crossed. Um, hopefully I'll make it. If I make 3,000 by the end of the year, I'll be a happy camper. And I still got a party to do because I went over 2,000. I told everybody I'd do a party and do some giveaways and whatnot. So that's coming, y'all. I haven't caught up enough yet to be able to put that together. And so today's topic is self-love and self-support.
Yes.
I'm going to turn this over to Isaac now, who's going to explain it much better than I can
Uh-huh.
because he
Uh,
knows what he's talking about, and I don't.
I don't know about that, but I know that it works, Sherry. And I really, to be honest with you, and I think the reason why the things work so well that we talk about is because, and people understand them. And the reason why they understand them is because I think it's something that we all know, but we may not practice. And basically, what we do as empaths or individuals from the spiritual community, our focus is always on the outside. We're focused on helping. It
Yeah,
it's something that we can't help. And what we tend to do is we tend to lose energy because we don't know how to balance the energy. And which is when we talk about boundaries, it's like knowing when to take care of yourself and when to take care of others. So what we do is we in order to pull that energy back to yourself and get focused on you and your self-care, all you have to simply do is do gratitude. And you can start out by practicing 3 gratitudes each day, something that you're grateful for or something that you appreciate. Because when you're sometimes with us, when we're grateful for something, it's like we're so glad we're that somebody is helping us. But if you do appreciation, and this is the way it worked, because what a couple of weeks ago we had the azaleas in bloom. And so if you've ever seen a huge azalea bush in bloom, not the miniature ones, the huge ones.
The big ones, yeah.
Yes. And you look at them and you get that visceral feeling in your body that, wow. We say it in our head like, this is beautiful. And that's the thing that we need to hold on to. We can create that feeling in ourselves if we continue to find things that we appreciate, things that we're grateful for. But if we see something that we're not happy with, we tend to focus on it and replay it over and over. Does that make
It's a
sense?
lot easier to believe the bad stuff about yourself than it
Exactly.
is the good stuff about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And that's what we need to learn how to change. If you can do that for that's every day. A lot of times when I say every day, I mean like every day of the week, every weekday, not weekend. And
right,
you just sit down quietly. And what you want to do is create this process so that it's just automatic. So maybe you won't be doing three things every day. You're learning to appreciate things in the moment. So
gotcha.
we just see things that we appreciate, or if somebody's kind to us, or I really appreciate this person who is always making the coffee in the break room, whatever.
Right.
These are the things that sort of bring our energy back to us, bring us in focus, because and like I say, and I think most people can relate to this, we're focused on if things are going to be okay for everybody else.
Right.
And
Kind of
and
like standing on the bus or standing on the subway so that, an
yeah.
older gentleman or lady can sit down because
Mhm.
you want to look at them and they don't need to be standing.
Right.
You can
Right.
stand, you know,
Uh-huh.
um,
Mhm.
being generous beyond yourself.
Yes. And see, the other side of that is if we're always helping other people, we think that everybody is like us and we should get the same treatment in return. But when someone slights us or disappoints us, it seems to be it seems to cause more negative feelings within ourselves.
Yeah.
But if we had built that balance, we wouldn't fall down so far. We'd be
Right.
able to self-talk and bring ourselves back around.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is something that I think this is something that we all know, but we've never thought that if this is the way it is, how can I change it? We pretty
Right.
much are into acceptance.
Right.
This is the way it is. This is the way it's gonna be. But all possibilities exist. That's what another therapist used to say all the time. All
Yeah.
possibilities exist, and they do.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can rewrite your path
Yes.
simply by changing your mindset and
Uh-huh.
looking at it from a different point of view.
Uh-huh.
Um, I know with the tarot cards, I did a show with someone once,
Mhm.
and we did a whole hour, and all we talked about was the Hanged Man
Uh-huh.
and all the different properties of that card and what that card could mean and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And it was fascinating because I was just beginning to learn about tarot
Mhm.
cards.
Uh-huh.
It was just fascinating all the different things he was able to pull out
Mhm.
from just the one card and from the
Mm.
meaning of that one
Mhm.
card. And
Mhm.
it made me think of that because it's taking that pause,
Uh-huh.
taking a deep breath, and reevaluating. And
Mhm.
sometimes that's harder to do than anything else.
Yes.
And it's saying no to someone,
Mhm.
I need some me time,
Uh-huh.
because then you sound selfish.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's not that you don't want to help somebody, but it's that
Uh-huh.
you're on empty. So you need to recharge,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
because you can't help them if you're depleted. And
Right. And one thing you said something earlier about what it about when you were talking about the tarot, something about calling our I think you said well, what I thought was I've heard other psychics and people in the community talk about calling our power back to ourselves,
Yes.
and we don't do that enough, and that's the other process that we were that we have to talk about is, and I call it growing yourself back up. It's
Okay.
and the process is like, so if you've ever been mistreated in a situation, or if you sort of think back to the past and you have thoughts of being mistreated, maybe like a good one would be like from childhood. And there are certain situations, there's some children, it's like you can say something to them and they don't seem to get thrown off, but a child, there're just certain things that some children just really penetrates them in
Yeah.
a psychological way. And it could be like embarrassment or just feeling rejected. And
Yeah.
what you can do in a situation like that, you can say that person wasn't uh, didn't provide me with what I needed at the time. Of course, we're all human beings, so you don't have to continue to blame the person. You can say stuff like, "What would I have? How would I have liked that to have turned out? What if it were me in the adult situation or the situation of power? How would I have handled my younger self? What would I have
Right.
told myself?" And then you tell yourself that in the present moment. If you don't believe it, but you'll start to change because you start to gain respect for yourself.
I know I cringe if I'm somewhere in public and I hear, and it's usually from a parent who is just stressed to the limit and they're
Uh-huh.
tired and their
Mhm.
kid's cranky, and you hear them say something about don't be stupid. And
Oh, yeah.
it's like the child is not stupid. Maybe they
Right.
did a stupid act,
Uh-huh.
so it's a matter of phrasing things differently.
Uh-huh.
And not just if you're speaking to someone else, but especially to yourself.
Right.
I mean, how many times do we do something that screws up and then we
Uh-huh.
sit and beat ourselves up with we're stupid. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm so stupid. Oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just saying, oh, well, it happens.
Right.
Get
But you know
over
what,
it.
Sherry, that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Last night I was doing my show and I moved my arm wrong and knocked my glass over. Boom on the desk.
Uh-huh.
He's like, oh shit, jumped up. And I'm like, okay, y'all, time out. I'll be back. I had to grab paper towels, come back, clean everything.
Yeah.
And everybody was laughing at me saying, thank you for keeping it real. I'm like, well, at least I
Right.
didn't say my other favorite curse word. Begins with an F and ends with uck. But, I said, usually that's the one that'll come out of my mouth and something like
I'm
that.
not even gonna take a drink. I'm gonna take a swallow of water. I'm not gonna do
Speaking
it.
of which, I've got my glass and I forgot to put something in it.
But that's what I was saying earlier. If you say that to a child in front of a group of people, or it maybe there was someone there that knew the child, another child, that person may have been so embarrassed that sort of stuck with them
Yeah.
throughout their lifetime. And
Look
and
at the former
even in that
president.
situation, we can say, what would I have if it were me with that
Yeah.
child? What do I wish I would have been able to say? And I think if we start thinking in that way, we start to change the way we think about ourselves.
Exactly. I mean, look at the former president. He would get humiliated and embarrassed by his own parents
Yeah,
in front of his brothers and sisters,
right.
which in a lot of ways shaped him into the person that he became.
Mhm,
This very cruel and malignant kind of person,
mhm,
who got pleasure out of doing that to other people
right,
because he
right.
had that done to him.
Mhm,
And you see that in so many people,
mhm,
especially those who become real successful. It's like this
mhm,
drive they have to be better than everybody else.
mhm.
but any little mistake and they they lose it. They
Mm-hmm.
can't deal with it.
Uh-huh.
Um,
But think about
so
this, Sherry. Think about this. Everybody who was treated like that don't respond in the same way. Some
right,
people decide that I'm going to treat everybody else like this. Some people decide I'm never going to treat anybody like that.
exactly.
Some people just sort of like try to shrink and not be seen. Everybody responds in a different way, but then again, we all have the possibility to change.
Right,
We, we know when we're hurting people. I mean,
right.
like, it's
Oh,
like
absolutely.
we
Especially
know,
if there's somebody close to us because we
we
know
know,
what buttons to push.
right? We
You
know.
know,
Hmm.
my late husband and I used to, I mean, when we rarely fought, but when we did, it would be a doozy.
Hmm.
And but it was because we knew what buttons to push
Exactly.
to make the other one go off the edge and be
Exactly.
angry so we could have a fight.
Hmm.
Just like we knew that if you don't say that, it's going to de-escalate.
Right.
And that's a fine art that a lot of people aren't being taught anymore, is how
Right.
to de-escalate a situation
Hmm.
so that it doesn't go to an extreme,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Um,
You're right.
so yeah, Isaac sent some really interesting stuff over to me here. Um, one of it is for reclaiming your energy. I don't know. Let me see if I can.
And that was the first one that I talked about. The
Yeah, let me
gratitude.
see if I can share that one.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pick that one up. I've got the other one on. Um, let's see. Is it there? I can't. I think I got it.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, great.
there we go. It's kind of small, y'all. Sorry.
Hmm.
Don't know if I can make it any bigger. Let me see if I can make that. Let me see if I can make that a little bit larger in size, but doesn't look like it's going to let me do that.
Okay.
It's probably just my email. Anyway, the top one, reclaiming your energy. You've got on here schedule time to be alone daily, to sit
Hmm.
quietly for
Hmm.
1 to 5 minutes. Practice an attitude of gratitude. That's what you started out with.
Hmm.
Each day, write down a good wish for yourself or someone else.
Hmm.
Now, that's interesting. I've never heard that point be given before.
Uh-huh.
I've heard the other two, but
Uh-huh.
not number three.
Uh-huh.
And let's see, it says if you become distracted when sitting quietly, you can doodle on a piece of paper, or you can use the time to come up with a good wish for yourself or someone else.
Hmm.
Or you can also use the time to write down 3 things you appreciate or 3 things you're grateful for. Um, I know there was one of the other readers back when I first found the community would talk about getting up every day and uh, getting up every day and writing one thing on a pad of paper by your bed that you're thankful for.
Uh-huh.
And so when I started doing it the first day, the first thing I wrote was, I'm happy I woke up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm still kicking. I woke up. I'm
Uh-huh.
breathing. I'm good. Um, and yeah, there are days, hi Marby, when especially when my back goes out, when getting out of bed, I literally have to crawl to the bathroom because I can't stand
Wow.
up.
Hmm.
Um, and it's in those moments that it's really difficult to say to myself, I'm thankful I woke up today because
Right.
I'm like, okay, I want to go back to bed and see if I can try this again. And it won't
Right.
hurt,
Uh-huh.
which I know won't happen, but that's where your brain goes.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, there are other people that wouldn't even attempt to get out of the bed.
Right.
Stay
Right.
there.
Right.
You know, of course, my bladder kind of controls that one. Is like, yeah, you gotta get up and go right now.
I know, right?
Why is it when you get older you can't hold your pee? I know we're off topic. Jesus, man, I'm got a doctor's appointment coming up. We're going to be having that discussion. What
I
is
know.
happening to me?
Yeah.
It's
I
like
never
the thought says, the thought pops into my head. You got to go to the bathroom, and before I can finish the thought, it was like you got to go right now, and it's
Right.
running for the toilet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, that's so embarrassing. It's at the same time, it's funny as hell too.
I never
Okay,
pass up
baby, have a good evening.
I never pass up a bathroom.
Thank you. Yes. On the trip back from California, every time we passed a station or a rest stop, we would stop so we get out and go to the bathroom. Because you never know where the next one's going to be.
I
So
know. I know.
there's some stretches along the Texas corridor there where you go for a long damn time before you get to another
I
rest
know
stop.
it. I think the
Another off
thought is
ramp.
I better not pass this one, like you said, because I don't know when the next one is when I'm gonna see the next one. Yeah.
I mean, if it's dark, you could probably get away with just peeing on the side of the road and nobody will
Yeah.
see you,
Yeah.
but not in broad daylight.
Uh-uh.
So anyway, okay, and the other one you had on here was growing yourself up.
That's
And
it.
it says if you've ever been mistreated by someone or treated less than kind, ask yourself, if I were the adult or the more powerful one, how would I have behaved? And then visualize that.
Uh-huh.
How would you go about visualizing that particular item?
You could do it. You could do it the way you were saying, like if you were out, when you were out in public, and you would maybe you would see somebody say, "Don't be stupid" or something like that. You could do it right then. How would I have liked to have dealt with this child? What would I have liked to have said to this child? That's the way you start to visualize it in your head.
Yeah.
But
That's
if
like
it's something
you
that
hear a
happened,
parent call a child stupid.
right,
Everything in me wants to go over to that child and say, "You're not stupid.
right,
Maybe you did a stupid thing, but you're
right,
not stupid."
right, right. Mhm.
And but of course, normally you don't do that because it's a stranger and they may not dig on you telling their children
Yeah,
something opposite of what they just said.
right.
Um,
But, Sherry, some people think that that's motivational. You know what I mean? Some people think, well, if I call you stupid, you're gonna try to not to act stupid. People have some strange ideas.
yeah. Yeah, because there are, how to put it, there are just so many little things that happen day in and day out where instead of just going, okay, it happened, big
Uh-huh,
deal, you sit there for the next hour beating yourself up over it. Hi,
uh-huh.
Jamie. Um,
Yeah,
so it's a matter of not accepting all of the negative about yourself, but accepting the positive
uh-huh.
about yourself.
Yeah. We
Um,
make mistakes. We are not a mistake. We make mistakes.
right.
Hey, there are a lot of things that we look back at and say, "Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't done that." But we can always make a commitment to try to do better the next time.
Exactly. Hi,
Yeah.
Harley. Um, yeah.
Hi, Harley.
Got a lot of my regulars in here.
Wonderful.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
show up late or early, so I'm like, wow, y'all don't sleep like me. Oh my goodness.
The thing about it is we should strive to treat ourselves the way we would treat other people, or the way we would treat people we liked, because we
Yeah.
don't always do that. We tend we well, it's normal. We tend to sacrifice ourselves. And if you're sacrificing yourself for people or situations that never change, what it doesn't
What's the
serve
point?
you. It doesn't serve you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
you wind up getting people going through life who are always angry,
Uh-huh.
always miserable,
Mhm.
who go out of their way to make others around them miserable.
Mhm.
That was my grandmother to a T.
Mhm.
She was so unhappy and so miserable in her life
Uh-huh.
that it became her goal to make everyone around her as miserable as she was.
Mhm.
And and because of that, it,
Hi,
it was
Pisces greeter.
hi there, Teresa. Um, Hugs to you, my dear. And
Oh, you're talking about your grandmother. But you know what says, Sharon? Hurt people hurt people.
right.
Mhm.
And another thing that they say is abused people who are abused grow up to abuse, but that's not
Mhm.
always true because
Mhm.
I've known a lot of people in my life that grew up
Mhm.
in very abusive homes who turned out
Yeah.
the total opposite. I
Yep.
mean, um, so again, it's that something in your brain that switches on or off that
Yeah.
lets you either buy into the madness or
Uh-huh.
step aside and go, no, I'm not going to go there.
Right. Right.
And that becomes a personal choice.
Uh-huh.
Um, Now, what's truly sad in my mind is when someone is so beaten down in their life from their childhood on up
Mhm.
that they don't know or understand how to be any other way
Uh-huh.
than to be like the way they were treated
Mhm.
and do that to others.
Right.
Um, and usually they're very miserable in their life in the process.
Mhm.
So there's, of course, the things that we've talked about before to help calm yourself when something happens.
Mhm.
The breathing, the deep breathing, breathe
Mhm.
in real deep through your nose, hold it
Right.
to a count of 10, and then blow it out slowly through your mouth. And uh, just that action alone, you do it slow enough. Oh,
Mm,
excuse me, I'm yawning. If you do
mm.
it slow enough, you're able to bring your blood pressure down.
Yeah.
You're able to kind of quiet those endorphins that are popping off in your brain,
Mhm.
and you can bring yourself back down to a calmer point of view.
Right.
Um, but with some people, it takes a lot of practice to be able to do that.
Uh-huh.
Other people, it comes natural.
Right.
They just seem to know
Mhm.
what to do and how to do it.
Mhm.
So, and then I know I found earlier, let's see if it's where I want it, a website. Uh, Let me see. Yeah, we're going to go with the other one if I can get to it. That's the one I want to show, and it keeps going back to this. Wait, I think I know what I have to do. Close that. Okay, let's try this again.
Mhm.
And
And while you're oh, here we go. You got it.
okay, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, so these are simply talking about 8 self love tips for
Mhm.
healing and happiness.
Mhm.
Um, Number one there is forgive yourself.
Mhm.
Um, that's part of learning to accept yourself as you and come to the realization that you're human. You're going to make
Mhm.
mistakes. You're going to screw up. Get over it.
Mhm.
Some people, it's easier to do that than with others.
Yeah.
Um, Tip number 2 was do something that makes you happy. And I found that an interesting point that they brought up. It's, if you like to watch a good movie, go sit down and watch a good movie, or go
Mhm.
listen to music, or go for a walk, or,
Yeah.
whatever it is that truly makes you happy and gets you out of that foul mind state that you can get
Mhm.
into. Um, and then it says, number 3, start building self awareness and understanding. So I kind of started learning this when I took the Tai Chi class.
Mhm.
Um, and I took it, it was Gikong, which is a form of Tai Chi.
Mhm.
It is more designed for people with spinal injuries or
Okay.
other injuries that
Mhm.
can't get up and stretch and move in all the ways they do with yoga.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, my body doesn't bend like that anymore. I don't
Uh-huh.
think it ever bent that way, but definitely not now. Um, but I found that with the Gikong, I could make these very slow, fluid movements, and they
Mhm.
weren't real wide or big movements.
Mhm.
They were very self contained,
Mhm.
but you could literally feel the energy building up in yourself
Mhm.
to help you calm down.
Mhm.
And it was it was it was truly an epiphany for me. It was like, wow, I could bring myself down from this. Okay, number 4, set boundaries. Isaac and I did a show on boundaries.
Uh-huh.
With the first or second show we did it on boundaries.
Mhm.
Um, Setting up your boundaries, setting up your space. Okay, I'm going to do this up to this point, but
Mhm.
I'm not going beyond it, or
Mhm.
um, I don't mind cooking dinner every night, but I expect other people to come in and clean after I'm done,
Right.
because I'm not going to cook and clean every night.
Right.
It's,
Mhm.
otherwise that's all you do, spend time cooking and cleaning.
Mhm.
Um, Trust me, I know.
Mhm.
Um, then
Let me
number
let me
5,
say
go
this
ahead.
before you go to number 5
Okay,
with the cooking and cleaning. You know what I've seen, and I've done it too, a lot of times, and this is just our thought process. We say, "People aren't helping me around the house. They're not, or they won't even help in the yard." Well, when you think about it, we never ask.
right.
And then we feel sad for ourselves because we think people don't wanna pull their weight or they don't wanna do anything. But we have to ask, we have to negotiate.
Yeah. I can remember growing up, all the holidays we would go to my great grandmother's house, my mama's house.
Mhm.
Um, and it started before I was born. It was one of her older kids, her husband would, when we would all go and eat, and the house was so small and the family was so big back then that everybody ate in shifts.
Uh-huh.
It's like, the men ate first
Uh-huh.
because they were the men. Okay,
Mhm.
that doesn't make sense. And then the kids would get to go and eat.
Yeah.
And then after the kids ate and got sent back outside, then the women would go in and eat.
Really?
And one of my aunts, her husband, started a tradition of, when the women would come in and sit down to eat, he would rustle up 3 or 4 of the men. Let's start cleaning the kitchen. And
Oh.
they would get in the kitchen and start washing the dishes and putting food into bowls if it was going into the fridge.
Uh-huh.
And and I don't remember this because I'm pretty sure he started doing it before I was born. But I remember my mother saying to me once that in the beginning, when he started doing this, none of the other men wanted to help.
Mhm.
They all thought he was being silly doing it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it wasn't until they started hearing all of the praise and accolades and thank yous from the women for
Mm.
doing that for them, because
Mhm.
now they could sit down and enjoy their meal and not have to rush to
Right.
get up and start cleaning,
Uh-huh.
that it allowed them to enjoy the holiday meal as much as everyone else did.
Right.
And I think that once that kind of sunk in,
Mhm.
then he didn't have any problem. Just about all the men
Mhm.
would either gather up all the kids and take them all outside and get them to
Mhm.
run off all that excess energy and food they just
Mhm.
ate. And then the rest of them would all line up in the kitchen. It literally would be like a bucket, a bucket pass. I mean, they would start taking dirty dishes and pass them down the line to whoever was washing, and then
Right.
they would wash and rinse and pass it to the person on the other side of them, who would then take it and dry it, hand it to the next person who would go put it in whatever cabinet. I mean, they
Uh-huh.
had quite a system worked out, and they
Uh-huh.
would get everything cleaned up, lickety split, so
Yeah.
that by the time the women finished eating,
Mhm.
the kitchen was clean, all the leftovers were put away. The only thing left to clean were the dishes that the women were eating off of.
Right. Mhm.
And they would usually come and get those and finish those up as well, so that then the women could go and sit and visit and just kind of unwind a little bit after eating that big holiday dinner. And and I just remember growing up always thinking how wonderful it was that
Mhm.
all my uncles and cousins would go and clean up behind everybody.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know who started it or why, but I just always thought it was really cool. And so we pretty much have a rule now in my house. If you cook, you don't clean.
Oh.
If you're the
Well,
one that's been standing over the stove cooking all day, then whoever eats the food can go take 5 minutes and go either rinse and stack and put it in the dishwasher, or wash and
uh-huh.
dry it, put it in the cabinet, depending. Um, and when you get several people doing it, helping you out with it, boom, it just goes by so quick.
Uh-huh.
And those that are cooking and everything aren't stressed out to the max
Mhm.
because of that. Um, and that was a boundary that was set by one of my uncles, that he just decided, well, it's not fair that the
Right.
women are doing everything. We
Mhm.
need to pitch in our share.
That was
So bravo to his mom for teaching
nice.
him well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but and then did you have anything else to say about boundaries?
Mm-mm. No, I think that was a good tradition. It just goes to show you that change is possible.
Even
And
in
that
the South, we can do things right.
right, right. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, next up is learn to understand your own needs. This one hit me between the eyes
Did it?
when I read it this
Uh-huh.
morning, because I thought, yeah, it's real easy to stuff your needs down into the bottom
Uh,
of the barrel because
uh-huh.
you're taking care of everybody else's needs,
Mhm.
but you're not getting your needs met.
Right.
And so you can't verbalize to someone how they can help you if you haven't verbalized it to yourself of what
Mhm.
you need to make you feel better.
Right. Right.
Uh, and that's my very broken layman's way of trying to explain
Uh-huh.
that.
Uh-huh.
Um, anything you want to put with that?
No, it sounds good.
Okay.
You know, the
Hi,
flip side
Mandy.
of that is we often know what our needs are, but we won't express them. We won't verbalize them because we don't
Right.
want to hurt somebody else. And I think the big thing to remember is, well, this is what I've learned over time. If it's something that I'll just say it, it's not, I'm not being cruel, but if somebody is going to be hurt because I'm taking care of myself, I'd rather it not be me. So-
Yes. Yes. And
Because think
unfortunately,
about it.
for most of us, it takes way too long to come to that conclusion.
Yeah. Because if you're thinking I'm gonna hurt them if I don't suppress my needs, but somebody's gonna be hurt. I'd rather it not be me.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh God, I don't know why I'm yawning here. I'm just like, um, okay, next up was number 6.
Hmm.
Learn how to manage your time. Oh, brother, is that one talking to me?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Um, when I first went back to college in
Hmm.
96, I finally decided to go back to college and get a degree.
Uh-huh.
In the first semester, the counselor had me take a class called time management. And it was designed for older students
Hmm.
like me. It'd been 15 years since high school, and
Hmm.
here I was back in school again. And the whole class was designed on reteaching the skills of how to take notes,
Uh-huh.
how to listen effectively without losing your train of thought of what's being discussed, um, how to manage homework time versus family time versus work time, because most of the students in that class were 30 plus, like I was, and they had kids and a spouse and a job so they're trying to handle all of it. Now they're going to plop college classes down on top of it.
Hmm.
And probably one of the best classes I ever took, just simply because it just taught some very simple steps
Hmm.
on how to manage your time.
Hmm.
It's do things in small increments, break it up,
Hmm.
go step away for a few minutes.
Right. Right.
Um, I know I used to be of the mindset I would start work and just would not stop until I dropped. And it took a while for me to learn I'm actually more productive if I go take a few breaks during that time and just walk
Yes.
away from the office.
Hmm.
Go walk around the building or go walk out by the trees and come back.
Yes.
Just to get away from it and
Hmm.
unplug for a few minutes.
Hmm.
Um, okay, here's one that you mentioned already. Incorporate daily positive affirmations.
Uh-huh.
Um, so again, it's acknowledging what's positive in your life, what you're grateful for. Do you hear people talking?
I did.
Okay, that's wild. It sounded like it came from my computer, and there's like nobody in here.
I did hear. I did hear that.
It's like somebody was saying, "Hey, go lock it up." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Who's locking what up?"
I I did. I thought it was on your end, but I heard that.
Uh, maybe so. I don't know. And last but not least, the last one is surround yourself
Mandy
with
said she
supportive
heard it
people.
too.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Isaac's not crazy.
No, you're not
Y'all
crazy.
heard the voice.
Yeah.
It was a female voice saying, "Okay, go lock it up."
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "There's nobody here but me."
Oh.
Because my son left for work and my brother's outside.
DJ heard it. Wow.
Okay, y'all heard it. Okay, all right.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And you know what? There was another reader, and I think it was Sun Psychic Jean,
Uh-huh.
who was doing a show with someone, and nobody heard it during the live.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't until they hit replay that a voice came through and was trying to answer the questions that they were asking
Wow.
at the moment. And it was the wildest thing in the world. I know for the next couple of weeks, every time Jean got on air, she was playing that clip for everybody. You got to listen to this because nobody heard it.
Sandy
Nobody there heard it.
Sandy said spirits,
It
possibly,
could have been, yeah.
that they could tune in.
And maybe it was just my computer being flippy, but
I don't know.
Okay, well, we got other people hearing it. Maybe it was a spirit. They're
Uh-huh.
telling us to lock it up, whatever it is. Um, as long as it's not me they want to lock up, I'm okay.
I know, right?
And then, last but not least, the last one, surround yourself with supportive people.
Yes.
I cannot emphasize that enough. Have
Yes.
people around you who are going to help you do what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Whether if it's that spouse that's going to do homework with the kids, give
Mm-hmm.
them a bath, put them to bed so mom can do her homework.
Mm-hmm.
Or whether it's that coworker that sees you've just had a bucket of crap thrown on your desk to get done, who walks over and takes half of the load and
Yeah.
says, "Here, I'll help you finish it up." Um, you don't you don't get a lot of that, unfortunately. But lock him up. Maybe that's what
Maybe that's what we heard. That's funny.
I'm definitely going to go back and listen to it and see if it's on the tape because we all
Yeah.
heard it real time. So
Yeah.
okay, I got like the EBGBs now. Um, as long as it's not me they want to lock up, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or Isaac, no, they can't do that either. Because what
Mm-mm.
would I do
No.
without him? No, no, no. Um, so yeah, I know and I equate this when I went back to college, my husband was probably my staunchest supporter and defender. He would do anything and everything so that when I would get home from class,
Mm-hmm.
my dinner would be sitting on the table, hot, ready to eat.
Wow.
He would have, my PJs laid out so I could go take a shower and then comfortable in my PJs and watch TV or go lay in bed and read a book or whatever I was doing.
Wow.
He was just so gung ho behind me going back to school
Mm-hmm.
that it made all the difference in the world
Mm-hmm.
of me taking that step because I was petrified to do it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I knew other people in school whose spouses would do everything they could to make it harder on them because they didn't want them going back to school. I was like,
Wow.
well, that's stupid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um, but there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody miserable who wants to make other people miserable.
Yep.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, those are just a few things that
Mm-hmm.
I looked up, stuff that Isaac emailed to me this morning about, well, here's some points we can cover. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
anything else you want
Mm-mm.
to add to it or?
Mm-mm. I would just encourage everybody to practice self-care, um, and add on to what you've already learned in your life. And what I would say is the things that you've learned that worked for you, that got you over a rough spot, continue to practice those things because that's probably what works best for you.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll get over a rough patch and we'll stop doing whatever, you know, was got us to a good place because in our mind we think, okay, I just need to get past this. I need to feel better. Then when we feel better, we just drop everything. We shouldn't do that. We should continue to add to
Well, yeah,
what
it's
we're
like
doing.
somebody with a chemical imbalance
Uh-huh.
who talks crazy, but they get on medication and it
Right.
makes them normal. And they
Right.
get to the point where then they think, well, I don't need this anymore. And they quit taking
Yes.
it. What happens? They
Yeah.
get crazy again.
Yeah. We all do that.
Kind of, kind of the same principle.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, be kind to one another.
Mhm.
If you're in the grocery store and you see a single mom in there trying to deal with putting groceries in the cart and her kids are tired and cranky and acting up,
Mhm.
walk over and ask, can you help? Can
Mhm.
I get something off the shelf for you? Can I push the cart for you?
Uh-huh.
Can I entertain your kids for a minute while you
Yeah.
deal with paying for everything? I mean, there's all kinds of little steps we can do
Mhm.
to make it easier on somebody else. But
Mhm.
more importantly, it's not being afraid to ask for help
Mhm.
when you're overwhelmed.
Mhm.
I think is what
Yes.
we were trying to drive at with this was
Yes. Exactly. I think that's a big one, Sherry.
yeah,
We need to learn to ask for help.
yeah. And that's hard because we're all so used to I can do it, I can do it.
Right. Right.
It's really hard to step back and go, you know what? I can't do it. I need help with this.
Yes.
Um, that was a hard lesson I had to learn when I got injured and became disabled.
Ooh.
Was just suddenly there were things that I did every day that I never thought twice about,
Uh-huh.
and suddenly I couldn't do those things anymore. I had to
Uh-huh.
ask someone else to do it for me,
Uh-huh.
and that was hard.
Yeah.
Because then you start beating yourself up because you're
Right.
not able to do what you were doing yesterday.
Right.
So that's where that self-love and stuff comes from is
Mhm.
don't beat yourself up. Hi,
Yeah.
Kiba. Is there anything else you want to add? We've been at this for 52 minutes. So
Mm-mm. No, I think I'm okay.
what is this?
Yeah.
Okay, Mandy did
I did a ritual
unusual today. So oh wow. Now I've known people who get like the really big bay leaves and
Uh-huh.
they will write on there like do a ceremony during full moon and then during the new moon they'll burn it.
Uh-huh.
So, or they'll write something out and then they'll burn it
I like
at the
those.
next full moon, at the next new moon,
Mhm.
or, kind of like setting an intention.
Okay.
Um,
I did a ritual.
Hi, Barbara.
Oh.
Yeah, Kiba, I saw that this morning. There's like 3 or 4 states that got hit hard yesterday and last night from
Yeah.
the tornadoes. Um, I think Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri and either Idaho, Ohio, one of them. One of the IO ones, I don't know. Um,
Mm.
but well, I'm running out of steam. I can't think of anything else.
Okay. I I I don't
If
have any.
there's anything else you want to add to it, then
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. This is what I would say. It sounds like it will not work, but it will. If you
yeah,
can do it for 2 weeks, you will start to notice a change.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's the same with that gratitude thing. If you get up every morning and just write one thing
Mm.
down on your pad of paper by the bed that you're grateful for, and you do it every morning
Yeah.
after a month, you've got 30 things listed that you're
Mhm.
thankful for that you maybe never really thought about before.
Right.
Uh, and yeah, that can make a big difference.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm all out of thoughts and ideas.
Okay. Okay.
And I think Isaac is too. We pretty much covered this topic. So
Uh-huh.
we'll go through and pick three topics for next show, and I'll
Mhm.
post it up on the community page. Um, probably in a few days, next weekend at the latest, for y'all to vote on the next topic.
Mhm.
Um, we like letting y'all pick what the topic is you want to hear
Mm.
about
Yes.
because it makes you a little more engaged.
Mhm.
And that's all we're here for is to just try to help point you in the right direction.
Yes.
And if
Barbara
you
says she listens to Abraham Hicks.
Abraham Hicks, that's a good
I
one.
do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
He has one that talks about, it's on YouTube. It's 15 minutes. Everything is working out for me. I really
Yeah.
like that one.
I think I've listened to that one.
It's
We have
motivating.
we have several of the readers on YouTube who do guided meditations, motivational meditations,
Hmm.
and they're all good. I've listened to at least a dozen. I know. Um, so it was. Hi Rose.
Hmm.
Just take a deep breath. Be thankful for what you have.
Hmm.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Hmm.
You're human. You're gonna screw up.
Hmm.
Y'all got to see me do that last night in full color. So I'm trying to clean up the mess real quick. All being captured on film live from Saturday night.
Yeah.
Um, but well, thank you, Isaac, for being here today.
Uh-huh.
And I missed our show from the last time we would have been together, but
Yeah.
that was the night we got into El Paso, and I don't even want to think about that night. That was
Okay.
horrible.
I get it. I get it.
And that was the one place that when we got to the hotel, I think my son and I both literally passed out on the beds, fully dressed, on top of the covers. We
Uh-huh.
didn't get any further than just drop our stuff and went flat. And
I know.
so thank you all for coming. Thank you for
Yes.
listening. I hope we were able to help you a little bit.
Yes.
I will go in and list the link to the, well, you know what? I can do it right now in the chat. Um, from the page that I was reading from earlier, I can go in and put this in the chat, and then there you go. Y'all can go in and click the link and go see if there's anything else in there that might spark an interest. I know there's been a couple of shows where Isaac and I had PDFs you could print out for yourself or download, as well as websites, so that
Mhm.
if you need extra help, get extra help.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed that you need to go talk to a counselor,
Yes.
because they can work wonders
Mhm.
simply by pointing out something that should be obvious to you but isn't,
Yes.
because you're in a crisis state.
Yes.
Um, and who knows, you might walk into a counselor's shop and you get someone just like Isaac. It'll be like, oh, I can dig on this guy. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Or I know someone just like him. So,
Right. Right.
and there are a lot of good counselors out there. They've got a new thing now online. I think it's called betterhealth.com or something like that. Oh, there you go. You got the t-shirt.
Lady, you must be psychic.
I must be, because I didn't see your t-shirt before you lifted
It
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 up.
it has never, you can't see it the way I'm
No,
sitting. You can't see it.
no.
I just
And
decided to
you
wear it.
weren't standing up when we went on air. So when we both got backstage, I didn't see what your shirt said. But yeah, so it's betterhealth.com, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
go there. There are all kinds of links
Yeah.
to help you. You can register with them. They'll help find a counselor or a psychiatrist if it's something that's more heavy duty
Mhm.
in your area.
Yeah.
Um, they have all kinds of neat things. I've been in there to look at it.
Mhm.
They have like breakout rooms where you can do like
Yes.
group therapy, but you're all online,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, so that that may help very, very well.
Mhm.
You got a big compliment here.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yes. Thank you.
And Yes, Isaac is wonderful. That was one of the things I had to tell Sonia and EQ. Thank you for bringing him into my life.
Yeah, we just
And then we
clicked.
found out we're neighbors. We're just right next door to each other in
Yeah,
states. So
yeah,
not far at all. So hopefully we'll be able to get together soon and meet, have lunch.
yes,
That'll be wonderful to do. So,
yeah,
and I'll film it for y'all, or who knows how we might do a live stream. Just depends.
yes,
Just depends on what kind of reception the phone gets.
yeah,
All right, y'all have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon. Have a good week
yes,
and be easy on yourself.
yeah,
No beating yourself up this week. Talking
yeah.
to me.
Okay,
No beating myself up this week.
yeah,
Do the best you can, the best you can.
yeah. And your best is good enough.
Yeah. And a lot of people saying thank you and thank you and thank you.
Yes,
And right back at y'all.
yes.
Y'all
Thank
have a wonderful day and a great week. And we will see you in, when do we see you again? Sunday, May 12th.
Okay.
We'll be back on Sunday, May 12th.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the second and fourth Monday of the Sunday of the month that we're
Yes.
meeting, right? Yeah. So we'll be back on May 12th. I will post in the community tab 3-4 topics, and whichever topic gets the most votes wins, and that's what we'll talk about next time. So
Yes.
go in and look at it and pick the one you want to see, and you just might win, and or it just might be the topic that gets the most votes. So thank you, everybody, and bye for now.